So let's understand the weighted aggregative method of finding the index numbers. In our simple aggregative method, we had seen the formula P01 is equal to summation P1 upon summation P0 multiplied by 100. We are talking over here for the price index number. This is the formula that we had seen. Now, when you are talking for the weighted index number, a small change in this formula will convert it into a new formula which can be applied for the weighted aggregative method. We just have to multiply this with the weights P1W and P0W. So that becomes the weighted aggregative formula. For simple aggregative, it is without the weights. For weighted aggregative, it is along with the weights. Now, a simple idea that you have to remember, the weight are generally the quantities. Quantities are of two types that we are having. One is the base year quantity and the another is the current year quantity. So depending on which quantity is getting applied over here, we will be using the corresponding index number as per the question asks us. So accordingly, we are having different types of index numbers which are going to get applied over here. Now the first one, if I assume that the weight is the base year quantity, then in such a case the formula for P01 will be equal to summation of P1 into Q0 divided by summation of P0 into Q0 and multiplied by 100. This was the formula which was developed by a statistician whose name was Laspere. So we say it is the Laspere's price index number. He suggested taking weight as Q0. So the notation over here is actually P01L. So that is our first formula for the weighted index number, Laspere's price index number, which is equal to P01L summation of P1 Q0 upon summation P0 Q0 multiplied by 100. Then formula number 2, the second person told we can also consider the weights as the current year's quantities. So in such a case, the formula will become P01 is equal to. Now in place of W, when I substitute the value as Q1, it becomes like this. Summation of P1 into Q1 upon summation P0 into Q1 into 100. This was the formula which was developed by a statistician whose name was Paasche. So the index number is Paasche's price index number and it is P01P. So now see, there are only two types of quantities that we are having, the base year quantity and the current year quantity. So there are still remaining statisticians who are going to develop their own index numbers, but now the remaining two or the further two people, what they do is they use directly the Laspere's and the Paasche's index number. So the third part or the third type that comes over here is Dorbish-Bowley's price index number. What they did is they took average of Laspere's index number and the Paasche's index number. Now the question is, how do we take the average? We say over here that for any two numbers A and B, average is always A plus B upon 2. So the same logic can be applied for these both numbers also. So when I want to find out the Pasch's index number P01, I'm talking about Dorbish-Bowley's index number. So when you want to find Dorbish-Bowley's index number P01 dB, it is equal to P01L plus P01P and whole upon 2. So whether you can say it as average, or you can also call it as mean of the Dorbish-Bowley's index number, which is the Laspier's and the Pasch's index number. After that, number 4, it is the Fisher's price index number. Now when we talk about the Fisher's price index number, what he did is he again considered both Laspier's and the Pasch's index number, but like Dorbish-Bowley, he did not take the average. He multiplied both the index number and then took the square root of the answer. So basically, Fisher's index number P01F is given by P01L into P01P, and the product over here will be the square root of that. So this is how the Fisher's obtain his own index number. This process of multiplying the two numbers and then taking the square root, we call it as geometric mean of Laspier's and Pasch's price index numbers. That is point number 4. Now the next comes point number 5, which is Marshall-Edgeworth's price index number. Now what these two persons did is they considered the weight as summation of the base years and the current year's quantities. So when we take summation, I assume over here that weight is equal to Q0 plus Q1. So in such a case, the formula for the Marshall-Edgeworth's index number P01 ME becomes like this: summation of P1 Q0 plus Q1 divided by summation of P0 Q0 plus Q1 and multiplied by 100. So when we simplify this, we say that P1 will get multiplied with both the terms inside the bracket, as well as P0 will get multiplied with both the terms inside the bracket. So it will become like this: summation of P1 Q0 plus summation of P1 Q1 whole divided by summation P0 Q0 plus summation P0 Q1 and multiplied by 100. So generally this is the formula that is always used to calculate the Marshall-Edgeworth's price index number. And then finally the last one is Walsh's price index number. When we talk about the Walsh's price index number, what he did is he considered the weight as root of Q1 into Q0. So how do we get that? Let us see. P01 W, and it is equal to summation of P1 under root Q1 into Q0 divided by summation of P0 multiplied by the root Q1 into Q0 and whole multiplied by 100. So this is the way we calculate the Walsh's index number. Now let us take a small example and understand how to apply these different index numbers. Commodity, let me assume P, Q, R and S. For base year, price and quantity will be given to you, and similarly for the current year also price and quantity information will be given in the question. Let us assume the prices are 10, 25, 35 and 50 with the corresponding quantities 3, 8, 5 and 2 for example. And in the current year the prices, let us say, becomes 20, 30, 50 and 80, and the corresponding prices suppose if this kind of numbers are given to you in the question. When I want to find out the Laspeyres index number, I have to remember my formula. P01L, it is equal to summation P1 into Q0 divided by summation of P0 into Q0 into 100. It is very simple to remember these formulas. How do we remember these formulas? Depending on the weights that these people are using. See, our basic formula remains the same, summation P1W upon summation P0W into 100. When the question is asking you about the Laspeyres formula, it should come in your mind that you have to use the weight as the base year quantity, which is Q0. So therefore, I get the Laspeyres formula by writing it as summation P1 Q0 upon summation P0 Q0. Now in order to calculate this value, I will make two additional columns, P1 into Q0 and P0 into Q0. Now for your understanding, you can make a note in your notebook that these are the prices and the quantities of the base year. So I will get this are my P0 Q0 values, these are my P1 and Q1 values. Okay, so when I multiply P1 Q0 and P0 Q0, so P1 is this, Q0 is this, so product 20 into 3, 60, 30 into 8, 240, next will give you 50 into 5, 250 and 80 into 2, that is 160. In the similar manner, guys, you can take P0 into Q0. So these both values, 10 into 3, 30, 25 into 8, 200, 35 into 5. If you know directly, it's very good, but if you don't know, just multiply the numbers as you do normal multiplication. 5 into 5 is 25, and 5 into 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So you can also do it like that. 2 into 50, that is 100. Now I need to take the total of just these two columns for the Laspeyres index number. So let us add. So these all values over here are zeros. 6 and 4 is 10, 10 and 5 is 15, 15 and 6 is 21. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So I get the numerator value as 710. So let me write over here. For P0 Q0, this value over here comes out to be 5, 7 and 3, that will give me 10. 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. So I get this is equal to 505 in the denominator. So on solving, you will get over here 710 into 100 and whole divided by 505. So this will approximately come out to be equal to 140.59. So that is the way we calculate the Laspeyres index number. Now let us understand the second one, Purchase. The purchase index number is generally using the current year's quantities Q1. So P1 into Q1 upon summation P0 into Q1 into 100. So in order to calculate this, we have to make two extra columns. So let us see what we can do over here. For the numerator, P1 into Q1. For the denominator, P0 into Q1. So these are the columns of P1 and Q1. So when we multiply these columns, 20 into 3, that will give you 60. 30 into 2, that's also 60. This is 250. And 8 into 8 is 64. So you get this as 640. P0 and Q1. So it means P0 is this, Q1 is this. So the first and the last column of the price and the quantity. 10 into 3, 30. 25 multiplied by 2, 50. 35 multiplied by 5. So again I get over here 175. And 50 into 8. 8 into 5 is 40. So I will get this as 400. So when we add these numbers, we will get, the first is all zeros. 6 and 6 is 12. 12 and 5 is 17. 17 and 4, 21. And this is 6 and 4 is 10. So the numerator value that I have got 1010. For the denominator, this is 5. 7 and 5 is 12. 12 and 3 is again 15. So I get this is 4 and 1, 5 and 1, 6. So 655. So this guys over here comes out to be equal to 655 into 100. So in this case, when we multiply 1010 into 100 and divide that by 655, the answer that we should get is approximately 154.19. That is the value for your P01P. That is the purchase index number. Then when we talk about the Dorbish-Bowlus index number, let us say P01 dB. As I had told you, it is the average of the last pairs and the past chase index number. So we write over here P01L plus P01P whole upon 2. So students, if you observe, you will understand that you just have to remember these two formulas, last pairs and the past chase, and they are actually very simple. Your basic formula, summation P1 into W upon summation of P0 into W. This always remains the same. For last pair, I am considering that weight is the base year quantity. For the past chase, I am considering that the weight is the current year quantity. Then just based on that, you would be able to calculate your last pairs and the past chase index number. And using these two, the best part is that you can directly get the remaining two index numbers, Dorbish-Bolles and the Fisher's index number, just by using the above two index numbers. So let us see what we can do in this. 140.59 plus 154.19. Divide that by 2. So when you add these both numbers, the answer that you will get is 294.78, and then when we divide this by 2, we get the value is equal to 147.39. So if you observe something very carefully, different formulas of index numbers are giving us different answers, even though the data is same. So many students think that for same data there are different formulas. So you have to remember that in different calculations we are using different numbers, either multiplying or dividing or adding different values. That's why we are getting different answers. So don't be under confusion that why are we getting different answers over there. This is the Dorbish-Bolles index number. And finally, when I want to find out the Fisher's index number, this will be equal to under root of P01L multiplied by P01P, which is equal to 140.59, and multiply that with 154.19. And when you multiply these both numbers, you will get under root of 21,677.57. So that becomes your Fisher's index number. So now let us see how to find the Marshall-Edgeworth's index number. P01ME. The basic formula for Marshall-Edgeworth's is summation of P1 Q0 plus summation of P1 Q1 divided by summation of P0 Q0 plus summation of P0 Q1 into 100. Now the best part is that all these values are ready-made available with us. So directly from the above table we can just copy down all these values very carefully. So when you talk about P1 Q0, so that is the first column, so the total over there is 710. When we talk about P1 Q1, so that is the third column, the total is 1010. When we want the value of P0 Q0, you can guess, you can see over there, second column 505. and for the value of P0 Q1, that is the last column over there, 655, and multiplied by 100. So first that you will do over here is you will multiply add the numerator values over here. 710 plus 1010, you will get 1720, divided by the denominator value, which is 505, plus 655, giving you 1160. So now when we take 1720 multiplied by 100 and divide this by 1160, we will get the answer as 148.27 or 28. So that is the value of the Marshall-Edgeworth's index number, like that. And now the last one that comes is the Walsh's. So if you observe the Walsh's index number, the formula is summation of P1 and root of Q1 into Q0 upon summation of P0 root of Q1 into Q0 multiplied by 100. So now just observe very carefully how we have to calculate this, because there are some new columns that we will have to make in this table. Now in this particular example, I am trying to cover up all the different index numbers, but in your exam you won't be given all of them together. Probably any one or two of these index numbers will be asked to you in your exams. So you will get a small table and not such a large table when you are calculating the sums for your exams or in your textbook. Okay, now let us see the last thing that we are doing for the Walsh's index number. There will be one additional column of under root of Q1 into Q0. Let me multiply 3 into 3, that will give me under root of 9, 3. 8 into 2, under root of 16, that is equal to 4. 5 into 5, under root of 25, that is equal to 5. And 8 into 2, in fact over there again we are getting this as 16. Once again we get this as 5. So now these values will be multiplied with the P1 and P0 value, because we want that for our formula summation P1 under root Q1 Q0, and for the denominator P0 under root Q1 Q0. So let us see how we make the remaining two columns over here. Come on. So for the numerator I will make a column P1 under root of Q1 into Q0. For the denominator I make a column P0 under root of Q1 Q0. Okay, so when I want to multiply P1 and under root Q1 Q0, carefully, 20 into 3, that comes to be 60. Again 30 into 4, 120. 50 into 5, 250, and then 80 into 4, 320. So we have to take the total of this column. So these are all zeros. 6 and 2, that will give you 8. 8 and 5 will give you 13. 13 and 2 will give us 15. 1 and 1 is 2. 2 and 2 is 4. 4 and 3 is 7. So I get the numerator value as 750. Let us also see for the denominator. It is P0 into root of Q1 Q0. So it is this, and once again the same. 10 multiplied by 3, 30. 25 multiplied by 4, 100. 35 multiplied by 5, again 175. 50 multiplied by 4, that comes out to be 200. So this is going to be 5. 7 and 3, that is 10, and this comes out to be again 505. In fact, yeah, this 505. So 750 upon 505 is what we are getting over here. So 750 divided by 505 multiplied by 100. So on simplifying this, the answer that you will get over here is 148.51.